Kenya, welcome to Mula TV Studios. I'm Eric Njuguna, bringing you a full update on today's biggest political developments across the country. Stay with us, we begin right now. Today, the spotlight in Kenyan politics falls in the 2025 by-elections, a litmus test for party strength ahead of the 2027 general elections. Across dozens of constituencies, voters went to the polls, but the lead-up and aftermath have been anything but calm. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission officially launched the November 27th by-election, designating 24 seats across multiple counties as hotly contested battlegrounds. But even before the ballot papers were cast, accusations of manipulation, intimidation, and misuse of state influence began to swirl. The United Opposition, a coalition of several opposition parties, publicly accused the government of orchestrating a large-scale plot to rig the by-elections. In a media briefing, they pointed to deployment of plain-clothes officers, unmarked vehicles, misuse of government resources, and pre-marked ballots as evidence. They alleged the involvement of senior state officials, MPs, and local chiefs in attempts to subvert the will of voters. In response, the IEBC maintained that it had secured full funding following a release of funds from the Treasury and affirmed its readiness to conduct the polls. IEBC's chairperson said the commission had engaged with 91 political parties and the necessary resources were in place for a credible election. As votes were cast and counted, early results began trickling. Early results began trickling in. The ruling coalition, United Democratic Alliance, claimed decisive wins in several key constituencies, including Malava, while their usual coalition partner, Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, held on to its traditional strongholds in parts of Nyanza. This pattern, according to government officials, signals renewed support for the ruling bloc, a possible affirmation of their governance amid growing opposition criticism. But the opposition insists the wins come despite an uneven playing field, not because of fair competition. They have vowed to challenge some of the results, claiming discrepancies, intimidation, and misuse of state machinery. This by-election cycle may appear small on paper, but pundits warn it could shape political alignments, influence candidate selection, and set the tone for 2027. Beyond ballots and campaigns, growing concerns over political violence and intimidation have emerged as a major issue today. Opposition leaders, civil society groups, and local communities have raised alarms over the atmosphere of fear surrounding this by-election. Former Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, known for his outspoken criticism, issued a stark warning ahead of the votes, cautioning the government not to allow chaos and election-related violence to define the polls. He reminded the president that the international community is watching. Similarly, other opposition voices have criticized the heavy police presence and alleged involvement of state actors in ensuring favorable outcomes. The tension seems to have discouraged some voters. Reports from multiple constituencies indicate that voter turnout was lower than expected. In some polling stations, the number of security personnel reportedly outnumbered voters, a worrying signal of intimidation. In at least one constituency, violence and chaos broke out, prompting condemnation from civil society and renewed calls for calm.
I don't think it can show because it's been a very long day. I want to take this opportunity. First, I thank God. I thank all my supporters. I thank them for their support and prayers mostly because it was tough. As you can see, it was a hotly contested race, and it's only through God that we've made it this far. I also want to thank UDA, my party, for the support. all the security team, the IEBC for conducting a fair election. And I want to thank most of all the people of Mbeere North, whichever side they chose. I am now the member of National Assembly. I have made commitments not only to those who elected me, but to all residents of Mbeere North. I will be fair. I will discharge my duties without any discrimination.
And alleged intimidation may influence how future elections are contested, possibly shifting focus from campaigns to election administration integrity. Finally, the by-elections may set the tone for youth participation, civic awareness, and political engagement, critical in a country where a large portion of the population is young and increasingly vocal. Well, underlying these events is a deeper question of trust. Trust in institutions, in fair representations, and democracy that works for everyone, not just the powerful. For many Kenyans, especially young people, the recent wave of protests triggered by controversial tax legislation and rising living costs left scars on public confidence. Now with by-elections marred by allegations of intimidation and manipulation, some fear democracy may be under threat once again. Still, others believe that Kenya can still turn the tide by empowering civil society, demanding transparent elections, and holding leaders accountable. What's clear is that the political temperature remains high, and what happens in these small elections could shape the mood of the nation. Looking ahead, there are several key developments to monitor in the coming days and weeks. The official full tally of by-election results, including any petitions or legal challenges lodged, statements and actions by the IEBC in response to allegations of malpractice or irregularities, moves by opposition coalitions to rebuild strategy or consolidate alliances ahead of 2027. Government response on public trust, especially in light of economic pressure, calls for transparency and youth discontent. Civil society and media scrutiny of election processes, security and enforcement of democratic norms. For Kenyan's democracy, these next steps matter, not just for who holds a seat, but for the faith citizens place in their leaders and institutions. Today's by-elections may have been focused on a handful of constituencies, but the implications stretch far beyond what we witnessed: tensions, conflicts, political maneuvering, victories, and controversies, all under the public eye. For many Kenyans, this is more than just politics. It's about fairness, integrity, and the future of democracy. How leaders behave now may set the tone for years to come. If you are watching from home, remember, your voice and your vote matter. Stay vigilant, demand transparency, stay engaged. Peaceful participation is the foundation of change. Thank you for joining us on Mula TV Studios. For continuous updates, follow us on our social platforms, leave your comments, and stay informed. I'm Eric Njuguna, and have a nice time. See you next time. And you are a very big and crucial part of us. We value you as our viewer. See you next time. Bye bye.